Hey there, guys. It's the Flow State podcast back again with episode 23, and we have a returning guest, Mr. Tom Russell. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man.
That's
23 and me, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we talking about today, Tom?
Jesus, what are we talking? We spoke about aliens at some length. We
Yeah.
spoke about pot at some length.
Yeah.
We spoke about the flat earth at less length.
We did. Extracting heroin from supermarket poppy seed rolls.
And how you can enter the drug cartel game.
So thanks for tuning in to today's episode. We'll catch you in the comments and we'll see you at the after party later on. Belt it. Dr. Tommy Russell.
Relapse, in fact, is probably the name phrase we need to use. Eh?
So we've got you back because obviously the first episode we had with you went for so long, and we figured out there's probably still more to that. So, why not keep tapping in to what you had to say,
Let's
why
tap
not
that thing.
Yeah, let's keep milking it.
There's many layers to this onion. And
Yeah,
I
you're a bit
think
of an
we
onion.
didn't even take the plasticky shit off the front when we talked to you last.
Yeah, which was a mistake because it doesn't taste half as good then.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You
All
could
the
do it.
flavour.
We didn't want to do a Tony Abbott though and bite into it and just rip into that thing. That would be impolite, wouldn't it?
I'm going to see if you boys a bit of trouble here. I was thinking about it in the journey over. Like, you've done a couple today, you're kind of banking them a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So this mightn't go out for a couple of weeks. Right, let me make your life easy in the editing process. You ready?
Yeah.
So, guys, now that the coronavirus is over, where are you going for your holidays? Scene.
Yeah.
So, guys, now that 80% of the world's population is dead and the streets are overrun by zombies, where are you going on your holidays?
I'm
Through to you.
Well, I was thinking about going head smashing along the Great Ocean Road, just to pick up some of the deadites. And I've got my book, my favourite book, the Necronomicon. We're reading out of that, so we're going to do group readings of that.
Oh, great.
Amongst a fire.
Nice.
See if we can banish any back to the depths of hell. We're going to be good.
So we're going back to normal, we reckon, when this is out.
Yeah.
New South Wales already back to normal, as far as I can go, as of tonight.
As of tonight, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
This is it. You've heard it first.
we're back.
You're back. Everyone's back. Go and have sex with your friends. That's what you're missing, right? That's the only thing we're missing.
Yeah.
Is that people just can't get on dating apps, right? Do you reckon that the
I feel
stock
like it's not stopping any of my
Yeah.
friends. but anyway.
Do you reckon the stock in like Tinder is dropping because people can't mix fluids?
I reckon people are still hitting that up.
Yeah,
As not.
100%.
Probably more. Probably more. Yeah, 100%, because it's like...
Well, cheers
I've
to
got
that
all
then,
this
I'd
Can't go to
say.
the pub.
Cheers, boys.
Oh, cheers.
Maybe
Yeah,
that.
why not?
Yeah,
Same
to rubbing fluids together.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's going to be good to be able to travel again. Yeah, I'm glad they opened the borders. I'll probably go to the States finally. Yep. Yeah.
See, I haven't been on holiday. I've been on a holiday, but never an international one. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna, in the very recent future, going to be able to do that straight away. But it's definitely more on the cards now than it's ever been, because I'm like, you get these perspective moments where you've seen all this shit happen. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing? All I'm doing is going to work and going home and going to sleep, and then going to work again. What for? I'm saving money for just a couple of beers here and there and some video games when I could be putting that towards something which is more of an experience. And, I'm not a very well-travelled person, but I think it's one of those ones that makes you look at your life and go, hey, there's plenty of shit to do,
Oh, yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
instead of flying somewhere, I'll get on a boat, you know what I mean? And not directly pollute the atmosphere and maybe just cruise along like that young girl, Greta.
Yeah, like Greta, yeah.
She knows what's going on for a 10-year-old.
Yeah. No comment.
No comment.
Not in these times.
But that was the thing, is she goes, I'm going to do this whole fucking thing, but I'm not going to fly because literally my whole thing's about not trying to pollute shit. And I can take a boat, which coasts, I don't know how boats work, they float in the water, but they're not going to be just pumping avgas into the world, so she can float along to the next country and do her things.
I was saying last night that someone's going to look back at this period in time and just go, I'm talking 50 years, they'll look back and they'll go, what was wrong with all them people then? I feel like we'll come out of it and we'll start going back to normal. Everything on every level. And people will look back and go, everything was just so ridiculous. I was watching the football, the AFL. They're tackling people. They're rubbing their bodies all over each other. They're sweating on each other. And then at the end, usually you sing the song and you put your arms around each other, but they're not allowed to do that. They're like this, clapping around each other. It's like, what in the fuck is going on?
You
Like,
just
that is-
were on that guy.
and they're not allowed to. They're allowed to do that, like a high five with your fist,
Yeah, closed fist, high
closed fist.
Yeah.
But that, you'll get suspended
Just horse shit.
in AFL.
Yeah.
Why, Tommy? Why is that any different to that?
It definitely isn't. But like, I feel this. I tell you what, I think this pandemic has brought out in people and made them visible and easy to see. Like, I don't know what the correct term for them would be, but like some sort of Nazi, like sticklers. Do you know what I mean? Rule sticklers, Jobsworths, like the sort of people who arc up at people who turn around in a queue and go, "Do you mind going back another 1.5 meters?" And I'm a wee bit reactive that way because there's a bit of me thinks, well, I don't, but settle down and I'm going to hit you. Like I just immediately, why would you be confrontational like that? Why would you be like that? Like if you're going to be like, if you're going to be in my face like that, I might come back into your face like that.
Yeah, with a fist.
Settle down or I'm going to hit you.
I have to, like, I'm not that guy actually because I'm always able to swallow it down. Yeah. But like my first reaction to some random who wouldn't dare to speak to me in that tone, coming out with that sort of nonsense, immediately fires me up, like flares me up.
Like
I'm a bad human.
I'm with you there because I get a wave of, and when I was working in retail, waves, like it would just be like, as soon as there's instant disrespect, you got no idea who I am and you're in my face and you feel as if you have a right to speak to me like this. It's like from my feet up to my head of pure rage. It's like, this is why I left the job because it's like, I'm 2 more shifts away from headbutting someone. Yeah. The old Glasgow kiss, just bang. And, you know, I get stressed out when I see, you know, they've got circles in the lines at the supermarket or X's where you're meant to stand. I get really stressed out when I see someone just standing right on the mark. Yeah. I'll never do it. I'll never stand on that mark. And if someone tells me to, I'll be like, no, I don't want to stand on that. Because it's like the whole thing of being controlled to that level, just because someone tells you to, you know, you have to stand there.
And is it because I feel like I think that those people that are doing it are probably the downtrodden. That here's my chance at last. You know what I mean?
I can be good. Is that what you mean? Like, I can do the right thing. Is that what you think? Like the bad people, or they're just like people who
not even bad people, but I think people that are beat down, like they get an avenue to suddenly stick it to the man. Yeah. But I'm not the man. I'm just a guy. I'm an enraged guy. So cool your jets. But you know what I mean? I think it's just it gives people a loophole to sort of say or do things that they normally would not be able to do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Do you mean over each other? Like, say, between you and I, like, excuse me, sir, get back in that box where normally I wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
You're talking
it gives you a chance. It gives you a legitimate reason
social
to just be
high ground.
Yeah. So, back in the day, whenever I was in the Middle East, the Gulfer was the Middle Eastern airline that, like, basically there's kind of a slave trade goes on in the Middle East where all the workers are brought in from mostly Pakistan. Mm-hmm. And they're literally paid like $1 a day, like crazy, crazy low money. And yet, strangely, they still are willing to do that because that's how much money they must be making at home. Mm. But anyway, whenever you get on a Gulf Air flight where they're bringing in like a plane load of Pakistani slave workers, effectively is what they did, you have never seen guys beating down stewardesses, like pressing the buzzers, complaining about this, complaining about that, like just in a way that you just wouldn't do. And then whenever you take a step back, you just think, man, this is the only chance in this guy's life that he'll ever get
to do this. To do something,
you know? Yeah. It's never going to happen again, ever. And he's grabbed that with both hands and
That's
went
true,
for it. The whole plane, like the whole plane.
That is so true, yeah. It's like people are given, and I think it's the same thing with the retail job I was saying. People finally get the right to complain about something or have their say. Yeah. You know, it's sort of the same thing.
They're the customer. I'm the customer. Yeah. Yes, well, if we're role playing, I'm the fucking shop attendee and you're about to get kicked out for abusing staff. You know what I mean? If you want to play
that's kind of come around again that way.
If you want to play that game, we can play that game because I've seen people throw drinks at McDonald's workers. Like, why? Because your nuggets were missing. Yeah. Fucking calm down. It's nuggets. Like, just ask nicely and say, look, you didn't give me the nuggets. They're not going to go.
Especially McDonald's because, like, they're straight there with those nuggets. No problem. You know what I mean? Like, nobody at McDonald's is invested enough to go, no. Are you sure we didn't give them to you and you're just not trying to steal more nuggets from us? Exactly. Like, just immediately, I'm getting paid $4 an hour, have 2 packets.
That's right. Yes. And not only that, that didn't cost the company anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And also, if you wanted world class service, go to a fucking world class restaurant.
That's right.
Don't go to McDonald's.
Hey, well,
and
McDonald's
expect-
is around the world. It's world class.
I like their
It's
coffee.
consistent.
Yeah.
You like the coffee? Is it good?
Agree.
The McCafe coffee?
Agree.
Or?
You and I often get a McDonald's coffee, and there's people who badmouth the McDonald's coffee,
yeah,
but it's probably the best I've ever had.
That's good.
I'd agree.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Consistently.
The coffee's become part of my life recently,
Yeah.
which has been interesting because I'm normally not into it. And normally you get that, you have a sip, and then for me, I guess, and then I get shakes,
Yeah.
Oh, you're still
then-
on
I've witnessed
stage.
that.
and
Yeah.
then I get
That's mad.
a headache, and then I get real depressed and angry. I'm like, what? Oh, fuck. And it's like I just need another one. But now I'm kind of leveled out where I can have one in the morning and it'll keep me running all day.
Yeah, I'm the same. I can
Yeah.
have one in the morning. That'll keep me going.
But I
all
don't
day.
need
But I
3 or
need that one in the
4
morning.
or 5 or however many people drink in a day and like 6 sugars and shit. I found there's 4 coffee shops between work and the bank. You know, if we got to do the bank run, I've narrowed it down to 2.
Yeah.
Because if you're good at something 60% of the time, you might as well be good at it no times. But if I go to this one and every single time they're great, then I'll go there.
So you'd would you prefer mediocre all the time rather than terrible but great?
Yeah, I mean,
Because
consistent.
I think that's what McDonald's are.
Consistent's
Like
important,
maybe they're
yeah.
not the best coffee in
but
the
they're
world,
consistent.
but same thing every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Protocol
It's the
will do
com-
that for you, yeah.
It's the
And
same
that's-
measurements. And
You've
you know.
got 5 or 6 baristas working at this one place, and they're all got their own swing on things, you know.
Yeah.
But whereas I go to this one place, Bayleaf, Bendigo, thank you very much, and they're always delicious, always,
Yep.
every single time, and no matter what type. Like if I don't know what type of coffee I want to drink, so get me something, I don't know, just as long as this hasn't got fucking pumpkin in it or whatever. You know, because that's soup if it's got pumpkin in it. And they bring me back
Pumpkin
something.
spice
And every
latte.
time they bring me back something, it tastes good.
Mm.
It's not like, fuck, this one tastes like someone shit inside it and stirred it, or it's dirt or whatever. They're always great.
I feel like there's when you start putting sugar in it, is
Yeah.
when you start getting the headaches and those
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
games.
yeah,
I
the
feel
crash.
like, and if you, because that's when people think that they're addicted to the caffeine. But I feel like when I got rid of the sugar out of my coffee years ago, I don't get headaches. It's just I could do another coffee. I feel like you're withdrawing from the sugar of your, because I went through a stage where I was drinking these sugar-filled iced coffees in the morning. Just tradesmen, I'm drinking them like, because you're a trader, you have to drink these iced coffees
And a pie.
ice breaks with full of
Yeah,
like
4.20 pie.
yeah. And I would drink one every day, Monday to Friday. But then on Saturday, I'd wake up, couldn't work out why every Saturday I had a splitting headache,
Like a hangover.
like a, you know, when you maybe look, it's too bright in a room, that sort of headache. And it was because of the sugar. I worked it out.
Really?
Yeah, it
Not the
definitely
caffeine.
not the caffeine.
Because I went stone cold on caffeine.
yeah.
I don't know, maybe 6 years ago. So for the first 40 something years of my life, I thought I was a night owl. Like I'd be up there 2 a.m. every day, 2 a.m. no problem. I'm only getting started about 10 p.m. And then 8 a.m. would come and I felt as if I'd gone 8 rounds of Mike Tyson. Like I'd be like, oh, I can't get up. And a mate of mine goes, oh, that's caffeine. It's not caffeine. I'm telling you it's caffeine. So
Yeah.
anyway, went cold turkey. Had
coffee.
all the headache for nearly a month. Like
Oh,
it was horrific.
yeah, well, maybe.
But now I'm a morning person. So I have that one coffee. The big drama with caffeine is it's got a half-life of 7 hours. So if you have 2 coffees in the morning, 7 hours later, there's still one of those coffees in you. Like it's
Yeah.
as if you just
Still
drank
giving
that
you
first
the
coffee.
effects sort of thing.
of a ticket. So like if you have a coffee at 10 a.m., 2 coffees at 10 a.m.,
Yeah.
you've only metabolized one of those by someone do the maths,
shit.
5 p.m.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it's as if like it's the same as having a coffee at 10 a.m. and then another one at 5 p.m. And if you have that one at 5 p.m., if I have it anyway, I'm like zzzt at 3 a.m.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
shit.
probably why
I thought it would be.
So I get totally off it, man. So I have my morning one now. That's me done with
yeah,
coffee.
that's probably why I get so tired after work, because it's exactly like 7 hours after I've had a coffee.
It changed my like now. Honestly, 10 rounds with Mike Tyson till my mid 40s, and now I just like wake up in the morning, and then dark time comes. I'm like, I'm sleepy now.
That's what I want.
Like it's
Yeah.
That's what I want for my life.
my whole life ruined. Well, that's how to do it. Because it's such an insidious drug. Like you just sort of think, yeah, it's 3 o'clock. Of course, I can have a coffee. Nah,
Oh shit! I do that all the time. I get
it'll be a
sort of-
life changer. It changed my life. Changed my life. I can
Today,
get up
if
in
we
the
weren't
morning now.
podcasting, if we weren't having beers, I'd probably put a coffee on before we started this podcast. That's
Yeah.
what I'd do because I'm feeling a
Schoolboy
little
error.
bit. It's worn off that first coffee I had in the morning.
Can I get down another little tangent with coffee?
Yeah.
So you know, there's a coffee culture in Melbourne.
Oh yeah,
Massive.
it
Brunswick.
runs the country, it runs the city.
And, you know, we're talking about it and we're like, oh, good coffee here, bad coffee here. So I come from Ireland and everybody drinks tea. Like, there's no tea culture in Ireland. Like, you're not like, bit more Lapsang Souchong. Like, where did the culture, like, legitimately there are people who run their lives around it. Like, oh, I'm not taking coffee from there. Are you mad? I'm not drinking
Yeah.
McDonald's coffee.
Yeah,
Where did that come from? Like, and why is it a thing?
Snobbery. It's social. I suppose social upholding. I want to drink this coffee because it's better
Well,
than that. You know, I
It's
want the
the
best
same.
for me.
It's the same as craft beer, to a sense. So it's like,
Not currently sponsored by Fat Yak,
Exactly.
however.
but it's like different strains now, and people realize that it's not just coffee. And people get this from like other countries, like Brazilian coffee or what, coffee from the Amazon or Indonesian coffee. It's all different. And then people, I suppose they saw that there's a market. Now we can start charging extra because this coffee's better grade, and then everyone just picks up that culture. And
Is it
starts
like
joining
wine though?
it.
Like, is it better grade? I mean, I understand there's probably a point with wine
Slightly.
where it, you know, goes from just being lighter fuel to being,
Yeah, exactly.
and I don't really like wine, so it's difficult. But like, I'm not sure I could tell the difference between a $20 bottle of wine and a $500 bottle of wine.
Same.
I think people who do that proclaim that they can tell are lying.
But even if you can, like raspberry flavor, I like this one.
Yeah.
Like you either like it or you don't.
because it's a flavour.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
I suppose people just kind of want to. Everyone wants to belong somewhere, right? And if they can be part of a group, like, you know, the beer guys, like, oh well, I only drink IPAs. You know, it's like, well, I only drink IPAs. Oh, really? What are your favourite ones? Let's compare notes. It's like guys who go for the same colour in football. You know, oh, we're a team together. You know, we played on the weekend, or you know what I mean. They want
So
to
you
be
think
part
it's
of a thing.
It's low-level tribalism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the coffee thing is that, and the tea culture, like you say, doesn't exist in Melbourne.
Or anywhere. I'd
Japan.
imagine.
People get very
Japan-
defensive over the coffee thing.
Yeah.
If you say, I have a Nescafe
34.
international roast in the morning, with mix it in with the
Footspray's
kettle,
finest.
they'll drop a bollock and they'll be absolutely
Yeah.
ropeable. You know what? You drink instant coffee.
Yeah. Well,
We're not talking anymore and wanky shit like that.
yeah.
It's like,
That's
I drink what
that's
I
a matter
like.
of needing to grow the fuck up, I think, because you can't judge somebody on what they do. Maybe that's all they got access to.
but I think they've got a point. I do, because I think like, it used to be instant coffee, everyone did, and then when you start having espresso machines in your house and stuff, it's like, yeah, I'm a bit of a wanker.
Yeah,
now.
but tea's an interesting one. I don't think you'll ever see like there's bubble tea, which is becoming a thing. Get them at little Vietnamese shops and stuff like that. But tea is more of a personal, for me anyway, a personal relaxing thing at home that you do with a nice little cup to chill out at the end of the day. Where people like, oh fuck, can you get me my tea, please? It's Broden. Yep, cool. On the way to work, drinking your tea, because it's more of a chill out thing, not like a let's have this low level narcotic to get me through the day. You know
Yeah.
what
Well,
I
it
mean?
sounds like it's a high-level narcotic in you. You'd be better just go straight to cocaine. Like he's getting all the...
I'm already high level as it is, so if you punch that, if you hit me with a bit of like a can of that V shit, I'll be fucking intense for an hour and a half, and then I'll just
Is that the caffeine in that, or is it the sugar content?
that's the sugar, but the coffee
Although-
thing just dials me. It feels like someone grabs on the back of my eyeballs and is driving me.
Yeah, like there's a lot of caffeine in
I remember,
Monster, certainly.
I think
yeah.
you were talking to your brother on the phone once, and I think he was talking about how his mood or something was changing. You were like, drink less Coke, because you were saying
So
that,
he gets horrific anxiety.
yeah,
I've actually known two people like that. Him and another guy. They get eat and he'd be like, "Oh man, like so, I don't know why, but I'm
Wound
so anxious and like he proper panic attacks and stuff.
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I've seen that in people. It's like I
And-
get it low grade, yeah.
But genuinely drinks like 4 or 5 liters of Coke a day.
Full cream, like full sugar, full cream Coke.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
How
going
can
to
you
be
be alive?
plain.
Yeah, give that up. Give it up. I switched to the no sugar.
resting heart rate of mid-90s.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah,
My resting heart rate this morning was 57. My
Yeah.
16-year-old younger brother
yeah.
resting
yeah.
heart rate in the mid-90s. Like
Yeah.
It's getting up to too high, isn't it? 90s.
I feel like
Supposed to
it's
be
way
60 something,
too
isn't
high.
it?
Like that's his resting heart rate. That's before he actually gets off the couch.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, he's lying down on the couch.
But like for me, it's caffeine. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Is it the caffeine, not the sugar?
the other guy that I know that's like that. So I was telling him the story about my brother, and then he's like, whenever I get up in the morning, I get a panic attack if I'm not 100% sure that there's a Monster Energy drink in the fridge.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
He's developed that though, you know. That's something that's developed. Like you can get that if you didn't know it was going to be sunny. It's just that would be more of a psychological thing that if he wasn't sure that he prepared his drink for the day.
Well,
It's an
as I
addiction.
say, that like I cold turkeyed caffeine, and it was difficult. And
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now that I'm completely, pretty much clean, and I just have a couple of cups, like it has changed my life. So I think it's just because it's commonplace doesn't mean it's not powerful. Just like this, do you know what I mean? It's like,
Hey
Yeah.
man, well look, that's
Yeah.
the marijuana argument right now is that you've never, or cigarettes as well. You've never had so many cigarettes that you've got in your car and you've run someone over because you couldn't see where you were going.
don't they say though that lack of cigarettes is what causes 99% of road rage?
I've heard
Really?
that. Yeah.
The nicotine. That's another thing. Like
People who fight on
grabs
planes,
you. People who.
fight on planes and stuff.
Or
'Cause
Jaron
they-
mentioned in
and-
the last episode with Tommy how that woman needed a cigarette and then she had to get to a place and she couldn't have a cigarette because it was a fully locked down hotel.
Yeah.
I bet she went mental. She could have that trip. She could have quit cigarettes on that trip if she had gone. I'm not going to have one after I get off the plane. And she's done she's weaned for 18 hours.
But
But then
there's-
she's gone into a hotel for 2 weeks. She could have got 3 days in. She would have been fine if she had just gone. I don't want one. But instead, she's got back out and she's smashed
that's
a whole
the thing.
pack.
The cognitive benefit of smoking a cigarette is it's there.
Mm.
It's not like it's
Yeah,
just
measurable. Like
massive. Yeah. Like we had one before the podcast. Don't do it regularly, but it's like I like it. You know, I know it's detrimental to your health, but
Do you know what's interesting to me though? So, I mean, obviously, give or take, it's nicotine,
yeah,
and you can get that from a patch,
yeah,
but that doesn't work particularly well. Like on paper, like I'm addicted to nicotine. Oh, I'll give you a patch. That should be you cured.
should be.
But
yeah.
because of there's like a huge that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what they call a
Habit.
stereotypical behavior,
Yeah.
which is like it's why polar bears walk up and back and down the cage. Like it's a
Yeah, right.
a comforting behavior.
It is actually, yeah,
And it's repetitive, and it's just like all stereotypical behaviors are the same. Horses do this thing called weaving, so they'll sit looking out the box door and they'll just go like this all day
yeah.
long. And then the other horses will be like, oh, that looks like fun. I might do that as well.
Is that right?
And there's another one called crib biting, where they'll grab hold of something and gulp air. And
yeah,
for some, I don't know whether that's true humans or not, but horses produce their own natural opioids. And it produces a measurable kick on in these natural opioids. So they do that and they get a little opioid kick.
from swallowing air.
And yeah, but they'll do it compulsively. Like it's what they would call a stereotypical behavior. So with smoking, it's not just the nicotine. It's the whole, like there's a whole process.
Ritual.
Ritual, yeah.
Yeah.
You see it much more, actually. It's much more obvious as a ritual with pipe smokers, which hardly exists now. But whenever I was a kid, because there's this whole thing where they get the backy out and they get the knife and they get the tamp it down and there's all, like,
Yeah.
there's a proper
Yeah.
20-minute ritual. And then when they're smoking their pipe, there's like, they'll tell you the important thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like this young fella. Like there's a whole, like you say, ritual, persona, lifestyle around smoking a pipe. You know?
You ever
That
known
makes-
anyone with diabetes?
Type 2 or type 1?
The
one-
one you're born with.
No, not personally.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I learned about that with the ritual thing is that everything's got to be in a certain spot depending on who and how well they look after their condition. There's a certain amount of things that you can have on the table, and you know what order to do them in. You know, in the morning I'll do my arm, in the afternoon I'll do my stomach, and in the night I'll do my leg or whatever.
Yeah.
So they've got spots that they go to, so they don't end up with holes in the one spot or whatever, and have everything laid out to go. And then when new technology comes in, it fucks with the rituals. So now, next thing you got one of those like a cannula sort of thing that stays there and measures it through your phone.
Yeah.
And the readings get all fucked up, and it says you're at 3 when you're actually at 30, and then you die. You know, stuff like that. But that the ritualistic thing there is part of the habit. It's not an addictive thing, I suppose, because you need it to live. You've got diabetes, but that's the same situation with you couldn't just change and feel better. Like, oh, it can make my life easier now. But yeah, but now I don't have that part that leads up to that moment
Yeah.
that gives me the benefit of having insulin. You know,
Yeah.
And it's just there now. It's like, well, what do I do with all that other time?
Yeah.
That I don't have to lay all my shit out. Now you become sad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The smoking one definitely. I think. So you think it's like when the horse looks at the other horse doing the weaving. That's the same for people who want to have a smoke. It's like, oh, I can see they're doing that. That looks enjoyable.
or people who see people buying lots of toilet paper at the supermarket and they go, fuck, I better do that.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in? So I might have said this to you in private, but start of March, I went to Safeways, bought 4 things of toilet roll, and then 2 weeks later, like the toilet things were empty. So it was in my mind, oh, well, have I got some? Oh, yeah, I have. I remember now. So I bought 4 rolls of it at the start of March, ran out this morning. So like
good.
that's
That's
lasted,
efficient.
that's 3.5 months.
Yeah.
That's effective.
One to wipe, one to polish. Like it's simple maths.
But is that your stock? It's because you've got other people living in your house.
That's my own personal
It's your
supply.
personal-
Just
Yeah,
4
yeah.
rolls, not 4 bags, not 4
No,
packs.
4 rolls. One
4
pack with 4
individual.
rolls in.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Wow.
I mean, like I don't spend, I'm not at home all day every day. So
No,
like
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
there's an element of that then. But even so, I feel like I've done well.
You've done well there. Yeah.
And then this morning, so I had to go and buy some this morning. The whole thing's been replenished. Obviously,
Crisis averted.
obviously you will potentially have realised that if I buy the big thing, I actually only toilet roll shop once a year.
Yeah.
So I'm way behind in like
Yeah.
like technology and advances that have been made. Went in this morning to get some toilet roll. They make 4-ply now. Did you know that?
4-ply?
4-ply. And because I'm a rich man, as you know, I didn't hesitate. I was like, I'm having that shit. 4-ply.
Yeah.
No risk of a finger slip there.
You never dreamt of it when you were a kid.
Do,
You know
they,
what
do
I
they
mean?
interlock the weave? Like one woven that way, one woven that way?
I haven't used it yet. I'll get back to you.
Let
It'd
me
be
know,
like
yeah.
wiping your ass with a live rabbit. Just fluffy bunny rabbit. It'd be lovely.
That'd be
It'd be a
great.
real treat.
It's the stuff dreams are made
It's
of,
like
isn't it?
using the sorbent dog
Yeah, the
instead of the
puppy.
sorbent
Yeah,
paper.
instead of the paper.
There's something about that dog. They put that fluffy, soft-looking dog in there. It's a little,
That's it.
it's a
Yeah.
bit of a
It's
message.
just saying,
This-
wipe your ass on an animal.
yeah, that's
Wipe
just saying,
it, shit on
our
a dog.
toilet paper is like this dog.
Yeah, that's right. You can shit on it.
Wipe your ass with it. Yeah, no, that's good. 4 rolls.
4 pies.
I'm impressed.
Four
Yeah,
pies, 4 rolls.
I mean, to me, because like somebody will have a trademark on that and like a copyright, and I'm like, fuck. I feel exactly the same way I did. Like, this has been my life. Razor blades, double razor blades, triple razor blades. We're up to 5 now, as you may or may not know.
Yeah,
And even after it went from single to double, I was like, why did I not think of that? And then whenever it went to triple, I'm like, I am an idiot.
yeah.
Like, I was ropeable when they got to 5. Like,
Is that,
You had all these
is that too
opportunities.
much though? Does it really make much of a difference? Because all the cutting.
I never shave, so I don't know.
When I pull a razor away, it's only ever cut on the first 2.
Do you
know what I mean?
shave?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just when it's I'm due for another one. When it starts to get a little bit to the point where you can't sleep because it's rubbing on your shit, you shave it off. You go with the grain or whatever. I think I might have missed a little bit here, but then when you pull it off, like all the hairs along the bottom couple of razors, so the other 2 seem to be there for show.
Spreading the surface.
surface tension.
Yeah,
area.
technology. It's like
Yeah, it's
car
amazing.
tires. Do you know what I mean? Millions of dollars of technology put into car tires. The same thing. It's just like spread.
Do we need
spread
air
the
in
load.
car tires anymore? Just to go off top.
No, nitrogen has to be nitrogen.
Nitrogen.
Yeah.
So when I go to
Value adding at its best.
Yeah.
Nitrogen car
when
tires.
I go to the to service station to put air in the tires, it's not air.
No, that is air. Yeah, it's just
okay.
coming off a compressor.
'Cause I
That's
thought-
potentially air you've just breathed out.
Yeah.
But you know it's all about putting nitrogen in them now.
Why?
Because nitrogen's a bigger molecule, so it doesn't leak out as much. And also something thermodynamics. Whenever you drive fast and the air
heat up.
doesn't heat up as much,
Yeah.
so you get more tire stability.
Yeah, I like that.
And they're doing beer taps with nitrogen now.
And coffee?
special
And coffee?
Yeah, nitro taps.
Is that the things that are in the little soda bulbs?
Don't know.
You
how
know,
it's
coffee
operating.
creamers, the creamer, the whipped cream.
No, it's because nitrogen's what they use to bubble up beer and like Guinness. You know the Guinness with a widget in it,
Yeah.
like it just bubbles it. So it's
I saw-
bubbly coffee.
A while ago, Guinness
Yeah.
put out this thing to like make the head go quicker, which is like a supersonic vibrating plate.
Every bit of that sentence makes me perk up in interest. Go on.
So
Vibrating,
I remember
giving
this
head.
would have
Go
been
on.
when I was first going to pubs when I was like 18. They pour
That's
you a
right.
Guinness, and no one knew how to
Police
pour a
people,
fucking Guinness.
18, definitely not 14.
They never knew how to pour
Are you
Guinness, so
kidding?
they'd pour one and they'd put it on this little fucking plate, and they'd hit the button and it would go, and the head would just rise to the top and it'd be done in a minute.
Instead of
Instead of
having
having to sit there and wait for it. No patience required for a Guinness anymore.
But I
It was
think that's
boom.
part of getting
That
the
was
kid
part
out.
of the ritual.
Yeah, exactly.
ritual.
You've
Get
ruined
away
the
with your
ritual.
vibrating
You
Take
order
it-
plate.
it, you go
technology.
back to the where you're sitting and you
Wait for
Guinness
6
is
minutes.
ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that part, it was interesting because I got the theory is you just vibrate the fuck out of it. It was like tapping it on the table to get the bubbles to the top or whatever.
Do you know that's why? So I think this is one of those I've got in my life, and I can't remember any of them, so don't even ask, but hundreds of things which were like folklore that you're like, that sounds like bullshit to me. And then a reason happens that you're like, there was a reason. So you know whenever you're watching mommy with the baby there and they're going,
Yep.
that's like just It's like the vibrating thing. It
On the
vibrates
Guinness. Get all the air to the top.
gets all the air to the top, and then whenever there's air at your cardiac sphincter, that triggers a mechanism. Like when there's gas at your cardiac sphincter, it triggers the Homer Simpson kind of.
Yeah.
So that's why they do that.
Tapping on the baby.
Yeah,
Just
like
trying to get all the beer out.
because I can remember when I was a kid watching my mum doing that and going, "What are you even doing there?"
Don't hit the baby. Yeah.
And then the physics of it are just so blatantly simple.
And I've seen them tip the babies on different angles, so I'm supposed to work.
You got to
up
get it to the
digestion.
sphincter. There's like a
Get
sphincter
it to
on
the right spot. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
diaphragm.
And
Yeah.
then it lets it out through the sphincter.
Well, there's like a sphincter's like a muscular ring, so you've
your
got
mouth,
one
Your mouth is sphincter.
on your way, on your way in, on the way out of your stomach. But this one here, so it's tightly closed. Otherwise, you'd regurgitate and you wouldn't be able to go upside down.
Yeah.
But whenever there's gas there, it goes, "Oh, let that out."
Yep.
Otherwise, your stomach would rupture. Horses can't do that, so their stomach ruptures. Horses can't vomit.
Really?
Yeah. So if they get any sort of massive, usually an obstruction, and get a gas built up in their stomach ruptures.
Horses don't sleep standing up. That's a myth, right?
No, that's true.
They really sleep standing up. I saw one
Yeah.
laying down in a field the other day.
Well, they can lay
With
down,
its
but
like, ooh.
no, they've got horses are superbly adapted. They've a lot of their so we're all just tendons and whatever. A lot of horses' tendons are almost entirely non-muscular.
Yeah, right.
And so they're just like elastic bands. So whenever they go bang, boing, they're just like a bloody one of those space hopper things. Like it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Spring.
held in energy. Yeah, they're just like a spring. It's just like hoppity, hoppity, hoppity along. But one of the things they also do is they're all these levers and tendons and whatnot. And they've got a couple of things in their back and their front leg that they actually, in their back leg's the easy one. So everything's wired. And then their patella goes off to the side and catches in a little hook. And then that leg's stuck in extension.
Like
their
this?
whole leg. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's like that, but then they have a little hook that sticks it in extension.
Yeah.
So then they can stand on this leg and rest this leg and just fall asleep.
What's been going on, Tommy, since last we saw you?
Well, you know the answer to that question is I'm sure you'll know because it's just a general greeting to everybody. And the answer currently is I'm in lockdown and not much. Like there's no pubs, there's no cinema, there's no real stories of any description because I get up in the morning, flange about. Hopefully the phone rings, do a bit of work, go to bed.
Did you cash in on your free Pornhub Premium subscription? Because they're giving them out still.
Okay, let's talk about that because as a violent and frequent masturbator, I don't understand how porn's even a thing anymore when it's all there for free.
Isn't that strange?
Who's paying anything? Like there's...
As in an
I'm
industry.
going to spitball here. More than 100 hours of porn on the internet.
At least.
I think
At
so.
least 100.
And
I reckon I probably made 100.
like, I mean, like I'm not country level. Like I'm probably Olympic level, but I only need a couple of minutes. Like I'll not even get through again spitballing a tenth of it probably in my lifetime.
Well, you can
Yeah,
save that
yeah.
video for another time. So why would you need so much? There's so many varieties and so many individual little slices of different stuff. But
Why are people still do it? How's it still a thing? Like, have we not
industry.
reached peak porn?
But like you say, who makes the money from this? Because there's some people have an OnlyFans account, right? Which is so me and Cody might go, hey, we're strippers or whatever, and stripping's gone down.
That won't happen.
This won't happen, but like, and we can't strip anymore because
It may happen, but it won't make a lot of money.
no, but
won't
the
be
strip.
successful.
Like, should we change it from flow state to I don't know, blow state?
Eh?
But like, so this is a situation that I know of with people that are in that industry that are strippers. They can't work anymore. Fuck, what am I going to do to make money? So they go and do their shows, their normal shows online, and you pay them $10 a month, like Patreon, but for porn. And if you're interested in that particular,
So it's
person,
live though, is it?
I haven't been on it. I don't think it's live. They probably have that capability to do live.
Because I can kind of come at the live thing, but like if it's just a
No
video,
pun intended.
if it's just a video, I'm like, there's plenty of free videos.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But that's
There is.
I wonder who's paying. You know.
You know, in terms of making the money, the answer to that question is one guy. I think he's Dutch. He bought them all up, so he owns them all. So you think you're like, oh, I'm sick of this. You porn, I'll
Yeah.
go on to Pornhub or
And
whatever.
then it's like, oh, I have them all.
He owns them all.
Same
Yeah, they're all the
server,
same
different
same
website.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently
he's
he's
loaded.
universally hated because what he has done is demonetize the whole thing.
Well,
Obviously.
makes sense, yeah. But it was always going to be demonetized regardless of who took it over, I reckon.
I'm just upset.
Well, except
the way
it's
the
not
world-
been demonetized as we've just discussed, which doesn't make any sense to me.
But the
HD.
gentlemen have really oversaturated the market by flooding with unsolicited dick pics to women. Now they don't want to pay for it anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah,
They
true.
don't- like my whole career's down the drain because now people have just got it out there for free. Aliens came and took a picture of Cody's dick
But
and
I
put it on the
mean,
internet.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
because of your very, let's call it, uniquely shaped penis, surely you still
With
get
the-
that niche
with the
market.
four heads.
Yeah,
With the four
still
heads.
got a niche market. Oh, talking of,
Yeah.
did you hear Harvey Weinstein has got penile gangrene?
Oh, poor
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Is
Let's
that-
empathise
is that
for him.
Almost too, like, whatever the word for it is, to be true. Like too.
Too coincident.
Outrageous.
Well, you know, so Harvey Weinstein, as you know, is the guy
Yeah.
who started the whole Me Too movement. He's like a massive, abuser of women, and
Yeah.
now he's got penile gangrene.
Oh, that's serendipitous.
Yeah, maybe serendipitous is the word for it. Yeah, like
What
it
you
just,
get,
it just
mate.
seems
You reap
like,
what you sow.
yeah. Well, it turns out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
Fair.
swings and roundabouts. You know?
I don't think
His
this is a
dick's
swing or roundabout that he's going to recover from at all.
No, his dick's going to fall off. So it's like,
I think it's already kind of half fallen off in dribs and drabs.
that's horrible. Trips.
Yeah.
But is it not divine retribution at its
Yeah.
greatest?
Yeah,
Like,
it is. Yeah, it's,
Like you've never even heard of that as you didn't even know it was a thing.
Is he
and now the
jailed?
one guy that you're like, well, if it happens to him, I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
happened to.
Is he in jail? Is he jailed?
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's happened in
Cheers,
jail by people in jail? You know what I mean? They've gone, let's get this guy. Yeah, and you hear he's got gangrene on his cock now, and there's 4 guys in jail going, yeah, we did that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
they've
looking
got
at him because he's fat. If I was a gambling man, I'd be putting it down to type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
Personally, but
yeah, because that has an effect on
like
all
loads
that.
of people with type 2
reproductive.
diabetes end up with no
losing a
fingers or
limb.
toes. so-
Yeah,
Yeah, lose their feet.
You know,
and
it's a
stuff.
peripheral vaso.
not
thing,
what you
so-
want. Not what you want.
Yeah. No, I'd rather keep all my appendages.
And yeah,
If I
well,
could.
they're handy, No pun intended on that either. But you got to have them. I mean, there's people get along without them, but it's really happy to feel fortunate enough to have all my shit together and working.
Yeah.
Just, maybe not to the best of its capability. Whose fault's that? Everybody else's, not mine. No way. But it's good to be a working, operating person and not have a gangrenous cock. I'm very grateful for that.
Getting back to the smoking off the back of that, because those they show you those pictures of people with
Yeah.
gangrenous everything's as
Yeah.
far as
Yeah.
I can see,
Rotten feet. Yeah.
and yet you're still like, yeah, that's fine. Just turn the packet over, keep smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such an addiction.
You collect them
What
off
is
the
that?
packets like trading cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
That's why they put them out.
It's
Gotta
crazy.
catch
It
'em
should
all.
be a deterrent, really. And I suppose it is.
Well, that's why they
To
put them
some
out.
It seems to me to be one of the it's just bad for you. Like because I understand. So what I was going to say was, I don't have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
I really like beer. I like my coffee, but like I go cold turkey.
Yeah.
Whenever I was
Yeah.
in the Middle East, I didn't even think about it. I'm in the Middle East, can't drink. That's fine. It's a social thing for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't have an addictive personality. In fact, I genuinely think I could probably give heroin a go and be fine. So I understand that some people just have addictive personalities, but
Yeah.
it seems to me that smoking is just like all the bad and none of the good. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's all pretty bad.
I smoked solid for 10 years, and it was fucked. Like, and I enjoyed it.
in the middle of it, was it though? Like in the middle of it, did you go, I'm a dickhead? Like,
after there was a few times
Afterwards,
where
yeah.
I did, and then I would stop for months and months and just never touch one, and then it'd be same thing. Have a beer with someone. Oh,
well,
no,
this is
no.
what kicks it on again, eh?
Yeah,
Like,
a
'cause
lot
you
of
get
the time.
loose.
Yeah, a lot of the time that's what happens.
Yep.
But then,
Yeah, it's
and then
me.
it would turn into like I would go for a pouch, so I would roll my own, and that way I felt like it was kind of like a value.
Getting back
adjustment.
to that, like,
Yeah.
I feel like is that completely and utterly like it's not just because you've don't have enough money for a whole packet. There's a lot of. It seems like there's a lot of ritual
ritualistic,
there.
absolutely, because if you feel like you earn what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I would find that a tailor-made cigarette, they call them a Taylor, and if you want to pinch one swiftly, it's a Taylor Swift, and they burn quicker. They burn quicker, and you can suck one down in 2 minutes. But if you got to sit there, you pull out your pouch of Port Royal or of Champion Ruby, and you put it in there. Sometimes you put a little apple peel in there to keep it from drying out, and you roll it up. And you get it, sometimes you fuck it up. So you've got this tactile thing of a skill that you have now. And then you light it and it lasts a shitload longer,
Yeah.
tastes richer, and you know what's in it because what's in it is just this mushed up leaf. You don't know that they haven't dipped it in arsenic and shit first. Excuse me. But it was something about like, that eating processed meat Where if you have a sausage roll, you're not quite sure what's there, but if you cut the meat yourself, grind it down and make a sausage roll that way, it always tastes better.
Yeah.
Because there's probably not cardboard in it, you know, and stuff like that. But it was just something tactile about it, and then they'd last a bit longer. And a pouch you would spend maybe $5 more, and it would last you twice as long. So it was something about economy of smoking, I suppose. I thought I was outsmarting myself or something. Then I just realised this is shit. When you stop, you have that, like you had with the cold turkey on the caffeine.
Yeah.
Get a headache, you get angry, yeah, you get upset, no worries. But I told myself, and I don't think it's true, I was like, if I can go 3 days without a cigarette, I never have to have another one again. And so I finished my last one, 4 a.m. on New Year's Day 2018 in Cameron Corner, drove home, did a 15-hour drive in 12 hours, and slept for like the next day and a half. And after that, I was like, done.
Boom, good to go.
Done.
Yeah.
And stayed off for years. Like,
I've never, I think I'm like you, Tom, when it comes to the addictive stuff. Like, it's never been I need to get a cigarette
problem.
right now.
Yeah.
It's
I
never,
never
and I can have one, and then because someone's got a packet.
yeah.
You want one? Yeah, sure. I like it. I like the effects of it.
Yeah.
It's terrible for me, but I don't need to keep having them.
Nah.
And I can go months and months and months, not even think about it.
That was one of the things. So I
For
never
some
felt like,
reason.
oh, fuck, I need to have a cigarette. I need one. I just always had them.
Yeah.
You know, and I just continued to buy them. And the habit, I think, was going to the shop and buying them and then trying to break the habit of, all right, when you go to the shop this time, just don't get a pack and you won't have any. Your mate with the can of Monster Energy in the fridge, that was me. It's if I knew that I was running out, or fuck, I'm having a bit of a palpitation. What if I run out? Fuck, I've only got one left. Oh, fuck, I don't want to have to leave the house again.
Yeah.
So trying to tell yourself, just don't buy some. Just don't buy some. Or if you don't buy some now, stretch that packet out and just have one a day until you're done. And then see if you want to get another packet. And then I'd always get another fucking packet.
Yeah.
So it was just, hard to break that cycle of all of the ritual because it's so much fun to roll these up. People have little machines and shit, but once you get it down, you can fucking do it with one hand and you were the king.
It's a skill. It's like playing the piano.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
That
Yeah.
reminded me of getting back to, because we killed it dead for some reason. You were getting back to the, we started off talking about weed and how,
Oh, yeah.
you know, is it any worse than alcohol? Statistics would tell you definitely not. Like, so you obviously land on the side of weed, do you?
Well,
legalize weed? Would you
Yeah, well,
legalise
I'll tell
weed?
you what, for someone who's got a brother who's got drug-induced schizophrenia due to
I've got a
massive
cousin
abuse
and another cousin. Yeah.
yeah, massive abuse of marijuana and fuck knows what else. I'm
I
sure
don't
there's
think,
been meth in there.
like, I'm sure he has a massive abuser, but you know that's just hard luck.
Oh, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
like
And
it's,
yeah.
you can get it the first time you
I
do
feel
it.
like I could be. This is why I don't.
Well, definitely because it's genetic.
Yeah, well,
I'm exactly
I feel like
the
I
same.
could be because if the times I've tried it, I've been paranoid. There's times in recent years that I've tried it, and I've been, this is great. But there's times that I've tried it, then I've got paranoid, and I'm like, I think I know how he feels. And imagine feeling that all the time, and then having to have 3 cones before breakfast.
That's
So, but that's the
So
thing.
I've never had it until maybe a year ago.
Mm.
And I had a girl living with me, like the way that my guy's living with me. And I had a girl living with
Yeah.
me. She lived with me for about a year, and she was a fucking the stoniest of stoners.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then about 3 weeks before she left, she was like, "Go on, just give it a go." Mindful of Joe Rogan, I had one puff because he's like, "Have the one puff, and no matter what happens, leave it."
Mm-hmm.
So I had one puff of whatever the hell it was.
And I lost my job. I went to jail.
Man, we went down. We had been watching like some Netflix series, and you might know about it if you've taken a wee bit of it. But basically, you can get into this thing where you're like in a sort of time loop,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
so
Couch
every
lock.
single thing that happened, I thought had happened 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So we're watching this episode, and I'm like, "We've seen this episode," and she's like, "No, I haven't." I'm like, "We've definitely seen this. Everything that happened." And then it started being, I'd be like, "Did I just say to you, we've seen this episode that
Oh,
we've just
God,
seen?"
yeah, that's
Man, I get into this for
stoned.
like it last off one puff.
Yeah.
But there was nothing pleasurable about it. Like it was all dysphoric, like if you
Yeah.
know what that means,
Yeah.
like just not euphoria, the opposite of euphoria.
Confusion and paranoia.
And I like
Yeah.
legitimately, I'm in this like there's something wrong with the way time is flowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard when you don't know what you're going to experience, and then but once you know what happens, you can sort of drive it a bit better, and you sort of I'm
That's
expecting
one of my mates, because I told that story to one of my mates, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you were the same with beer when you started. Like,
yeah. Oh, I
you
feel
didn't
a bit
enjoy
dizzy
it.
and- yeah.
now you can manipulate
and
it
if
a
you
bit."
have a preconception of what it's going to be like, or you've got any kind of doubts about how you're going to experience it, that can factor in on that as well. I'll give you an anecdote on the time that I didn't know that I had a bunch of weed. And it's like, how can you not know? You smoke it, right? No. This guy gave me a thing. Hey, man, you want a space cake? And I'm like, it had fucking metallic sprinkles. I'm like, space cake makes sense. It's chocolate brownie with
Glitter.
For some reason,
and I'm
metal
like,
fannings.
I'm like, fuck yeah, okay.
It does make sense now that you say it.
And he goes, yeah, sick. Have that. And so I'm smashed into, oh, cheers, man. This is fucking great. Chocolatey as hell. Love it. And he goes, oh, can I have some? And I'm like, what a weird thing. Can I have some of your chocolate slice? So, oh, yeah, okay. And he fucking fished off. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
So did you immediately think, this guy's a homosexual? Because if it was weird, then it was actually very weird.
Yeah, of course.
No,
yeah.
it was
You know what I mean? For like, can I have some of your chocolate slice?
chocolate slice, if you know what I'm saying. No, he said
in the
slice,
bedroom
not
for you.
starfish. But so, and then I didn't realise that because Space Cakes is just a guy who's a bit wacky, man, and calls stuff funny shit and that, you know. So I was like, okay, so I'll have some. Thanks, Pete. Sit down. Pete will be watching this. It'll be very funny. He lives in the UK right now. And he's straight dude, skydiver, but whatever. So we have this, and then next thing you know, I'm sitting down, and I've got couch lock, and we're having these really big, deep conversations about. I didn't realise it's 4 a.m, and Benny Hinn's like, Jesus is coming to save you. We're having these big conversations. Everything was great. Like, I better get up. It's Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve. It wasn't just a
Right.
Couldn't move.
It wasn't
couldn't move.
Yeah.
My legs didn't work. And he's like, oh, that's just a space cakes kicking in, bro. I'm like, what's space cakes? He goes, oh man, it's fucking weed butter.
And that's
Really strong weed butter in this brownie. And I'm like,
Mix it in
oh,
the cookies,
right.
yeah.
And if I had known that, I'd been like, no thanks. And if I had known that and been no thanks, oh, come on, man, have some. Oh, okay. And then I would have gotten all freaked the fuck out. But I didn't know. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
now the lock thing where you're stuck.
Yeah.
That's where the loop comes in, because now you get a positive feedback loop. You go, oh no, I don't think I can move. Then your mind's going, no, you definitely can't move. And now you're in a loop of going, I'm not going to be able to move. And then you're panicking more, your heart rate's going up, and you're like, now you've convinced yourself you can't move because you know, it's all playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're an experienced campaigner, you're like, I'm really relaxed.
Campaigner.
It's like, I don't know. I think unless you have a heap of it, and then it's like, yeah, probably can't move. You know, I don't know. Different strains of weed. You know, you might have one joint one weekend and it'll be like, oh, this is good. I can function. I can go out, enjoy the party, talk to people, converse, have a bit more of a laugh. Everything's funnier for some reason. Or you can have a joint and it will put you on your ass and you can't remember anything.
Yeah.
Because you've had a couple of beers or whatever.
And then getting back to our previous point, though, because it's definitely genetic. Yeah, and I've got a cousin who genuinely is frightening. If you were talking to him like this, he's given out a very strong signal of, I might just grab that knife and stab it through your heart to see what happens.
Oh, yes.
Is what it feels, you know. Very strong signal. Yeah, like that, exactly like that. Just a kind of wide-eyed,
especially when they
disconnected.
tell you that they're going to do that. It's repeatedly, you know what I mean?
If they
You're
say
like,
that,
okay,
it's
we're
clear
done
indication.
here, you know?
So it can happen after your first one. And so that was my first one. And I was like, feeling like I was a smidgen away from being that guy.
Yeah.
Like it's certainly genetic, and I feel like the same thing happens with alcohol to some people. They turn into absolute maniacs and they can't handle it. They need to drink light beer or whatever, and that's how they get through life. But and they know that if they have, if I have any more than 3 heavy beers, I'm an asshole.
Bash, yeah.
Yeah, they start fighting and shit. I think it's the same
I've never
thing.
understood that because I get like super lovely and cuddly when I'm absolutely bossed. I've never understood guys who want to kick on. I'm just not that guy.
Yeah, it's more of a good time thing for me.
Well, as I say, for me, it's completely and utterly. I'm a social alcoholic. I never think about it. I never need it. But if I have 2 beers and there's a bit of fun going on, I'll be dragged out by my bootstraps. I'll be.
Yeah, we've done that before.
We have done that before.
We'll go down for one pint.
But if we're talking about whether or not I reckon they should legalize it, I think that the medical benefits of the cannabis oil is fucking brilliant. Very.
I'm just gonna out the door with your medical benefits nonsense. If they're going to legalize it, then there has to be some sort of gateway drug conversation. That's where the legalization.
But they can take
Right,
the THC
Doesn't it?
aspect from it. They can remove the THC aspect from it, so you don't get a high. But people.
But we're talking about the high though.
Oh, yeah.
And
Literally
also
the
as
high.
well.
Yeah.
Before you go on any further, the CBD. You've been brainwashed by Joe Rogan.
I don't watch a whole lot of Joe Rogan on CBD.
Tell you what, there's not a lot of actual evidence for CBD. I'm not saying it's not common, and there's
Yeah.
some evidence for it, but certainly Joe Rogan would have you believe that it is the cure for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
No joke.
Yeah.
Cure for bad washing.
He's Joe Rogan definitely got a lot of staunch beliefs, and you can watch it and you can go, yeah, I don't. A lot of people fall into the trap of going, yeah, I disagree. Like I just agree with everything he says.
He's so nice. I like
He's so
listening to him.
popular,
Yeah.
you know, and everyone who gets on so cool, and I don't know, he's
It's like
living
that,
the life I'd like to live.
That
and
Rhonda, is it Rhonda Patrick? that he
Dr.
gets
Rhonda
on?
Patrick, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. So who am I again? I'm Dr. Tommy Russell.
You
in
were-
the,
you
in
got
the
the
same
doctor.
way, like she's some doctor of fuck knows what, and I am a doctor of horses. Like we're both not really doctors, is all I can tell you. But like I know enough about it to know that she says things that I'm just like, back the fuck up there, kid.
Yeah.
Like she says things as if they are gospel truth that have been the research
Yeah.
has been done on 2 rats in
Yeah,
1967.
yeah. And then one guy you saw on YouTube who had epilepsy who stopped shaking. Yeah.
But Tom, when it comes to like the doctor conversation, it's like you say, doctor of horses and stuff like that, but you seek knowledge in all other fields, though. You don't just focus
But
on
he
one.
would do that if he wasn't a doctor. Though,
Yeah,
'cause
when it
that's who he
doesn't
is.
like the doctors in the here and there. You know that
Yeah, but you've got
you know
your-
that in terms of the doctor thing for vets, you're
Yeah.
not a doctor in the UK. Like
Yeah.
no
You're,
doctors.
you're
are
just a vet.
What if you're a surgeon?
That's a mister.
no, you're a mister. Yeah, but anyway,
Really, yeah.
in the UK, you're not a doctor. End off away with your nonsense, and you come over here. Thank you for inviting me into your country. I will come. I enjoy the weather. And then whenever you join the Victorian Vet Board or whatever, there's a line that says, "Would you like the honorific doctor?"
And you say, yeah.
Sure.
Of course I will.
But I never use it. I actually like, because in like whatever plane flights, whatever, you can take the doctor. Like I'm just
Mister.
it's an
Call me
honorific.
Tom.
But we give you the doctor title on the,
Yeah,
the
it's great.
podcast.
Looks good for us
But
too.
it's nonsensical, and it's I mean, so she actually is a proper doctor because she's got a PhD, which is what a doctorate actually is. But like they wind that into she's a doctor. No, she's not. She's a research person in a lab somewhere who's read some papers. And speaking as a man who, in order to be a specialist, you have to read all the fucking papers, and so you get good at sorting the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
Almost everything that's published is shit. Like
Yeah.
statistically, it's one of the anomalies of statistics. If you want to be statistically significant, there are ways of manipulating it so you can be statistically significant with very small numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's not the same as actually being real world. That it's a truth, if you know what I mean.
And yeah, see, I have no.
Can I give you a statistic?
Yeah.
Human beings have 99.97. Sorry. Humans have 1.997 arms.
1.997 arms.
One shorter than the other.
No. There's just like there are some humans who've lost an arm.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
as the statistic,
yeah.
humanity has
As an
1.9997
average, yeah.
arms.
Right,
That's
right.
averages. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's.
How many
it's
boobs
something-
are there, do you reckon?
Well, it'd be probably similar.
Probably similar stat, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot less. It's,
Actually,
I
you'd have
feel
to
like there's
half
a-
it.
probably
yeah.
once, yeah,
You'd have to
probably
half
once.
it.
But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that, there's an immediate statistic that's immediately misleading.
Yeah.
Immediately misleading.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Doesn't really
But it's
make sense.
completely true.
It's true. Yeah.
That's a good way to bend it, isn't it?
That's like, that whole
It's-
lies, damn lies, and statistics. Like statistics are slippy. Super
I
slippy.
use the Joe Rogan podcast for education as well because
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Rhonda
Yeah.
Patrick miseducates you.
and I'm not smart. I'm
Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick is the guy who played the T1000.
Yes, and as I say, he has miseducated you.
yeah, exactly.
Rhonda Patrick.
Robert Patrick. I thought you said Robert Patrick.
Rhonda. I don't know. Yeah, it's because the level of education that some people are at probably it's like she's using statistics.
It's easy
And
when
that's
you
a trap
when
for
you
young
when you're
players.
an uneducated person like myself to listen to somebody who's got confidence enough to tell you they're right and go, okay, Joe, and whoever is on your show, that must be right. And then, hey, did you know that fucking mushrooms can cure stuttering? And then they're like, oh, really? Yeah, I heard it on a podcast. You know
Yeah, I
what
do
mean?
that.
Yeah, I do that too because I that Paul Stamets shit's fucking great, and I think mushrooms are cool. I mean, I'd eat them.
Well, that's another thing. There's an echo chamber at work there, isn't there? Like you believe things that
You're interested in?
that you want to believe.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah, you want mushrooms to be the
Well, that's
magical.
classic
ingredient.
confirmation bias, you know.
Like beer cures baldness.
Drink up. The mushroom one is like there's something going on there psychologically that's just unheard of and unfathomable. But yeah, I think it's going to be a hard one for people to understand.
No one wants to get into it because they're like, oh, it's a drug, it's illegal. It's like, yeah, but it grows off the fucking ground, mate. Like you can pick them up out the back. You can pick them up.
Yeah, so
Why
we
not?
had a lot
this
of. I feel like
conversation, yeah.
opium grows out of the ground.
It does, yeah, it does. But don't you have to do a whole lot of shit to it?
No,
you
not
can't just
much.
make
Grind
poppy
down the poppy seeds, pretty much. Do you know?
We're in business, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, I suppose it's yeah.
But you can poppy seeds. No, that's not. Is it poppy seeds you get from the supermarket? Little black ones. They're not opioids.
Yeah,
you get them on the bread
100%
rolls.
there.
Yeah.
Really? How many do you have to do?
So has been an issue with racehorses because obviously they're not allowed to come to the races smack full of heroin. Where they tested,
Just like the jockeys.
The belt around their arms.
Yeah, so they tested positive to. There was a slew of them that tested positive to opioids because there were poppy seeds in the hay.
Yeah, right. That's messed up.
Real, so they didn't intentionally smack them up. It was just poppy seeds in the hay.
So essentially, you could make heroin from supermarket ingredients. Is that an accurate summation?
I wouldn't have
Poppy seeds.
Poppy seeds.
I'm
because you
going to
get
say, well, I feel it becomes like, are you going to pick them individually off the top of the poppy seed bun?
Oh, right. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Those type of
Get all
things.
the bread
You just
off.
scrape off you buy a bunch of baked goods.
Like I think it genuinely just becomes an issue of like
Logistics.
it's like coal.
Mm.
Like England's full of coal, but it's just not economic to mine it.
Yeah.
So they shut down all the mines, as you know, in the 80s, and there was riots against Thatcher and all that kind of old history for you guys. But
Yeah.
like the coal's still there. It's still non-economic to get it out of the ground.
Yeah.
The poppy seeds are there in safe ways. Can we become, like
where
millionaires,
there's a
Mexican
will, there's
drug
a
cartel
way.
millionaires out of this?
Breaking
out of
Bad.
this- It's like fracking gas, though. Like we're at the behest of Saudi Arabia. Oh no, we can frack our own gas here in the US of A. Fuck off, Saudi Arabia. Like if we can just work out the mechanism for extracting the poppy seeds from the Safeway's 4-pack buns, we're ready.
Ready to
We're-
roll. That's right. That's what we want.
We're the new El Guapos.
They don't just have a pick and mix. They don't have a poppy seed pick and mix, do they? Do you reckon they'll have that? You know how they have weed dispensaries in America, and you can just pick whatever type of weeds you want. Do you reckon they'd have like a drug one of those where you can just like grab a scoop and fill it up with cocaine, put it in your little bag, and go home?
I think you can do it not with cocaine, but like weed gummy bears and shit like that. Pick and mix.
They have all kinds of edible sort of hallucinogens things. That dude who goes on, what's that guy? You know, the old guy on Rogan.
Oh, the
Joey
worst
Diaz.
man in the
What's
world.
his
Don't
name?
even start
He's
me
not a
with
big fan of
Yeah, what's
Joey
his name?
Diaz.
Joey Diaz.
Diaz.
And he's
You
always eating those
cocksucker.
little fucking the stars.
Yeah.
Those little things. He's always smashing those little gummy stars. What the
Yeah.
fuck's up with that? Is that just like they've put oil in a thing or something, or what?
It's the same as your the brownies that you have.
Yeah,
made
right.
with
yeah,
an extract
like
of
that's weird.
THC
Weird
and
shit.
and
Joey
yeah,
Diaz, not a fan.
He finds him.
He was the guy that made me suddenly just have one of those perspective changes where you're like, I'm not so sure about Joe Rogan.
Mm.
Like you were saying, like he sort of became the fountain of all knowledge. And then he's always like,
He did.
Joey Diaz, funniest man in the universe. And I'm like, fuck, you're not Joey Diaz.
Yeah,
You're,
yeah.
You know, as soon as it comes up, like Joe Rogan podcast with Joey Diaz, delete. Like it won't even start it now.
I listen to him because the amount of just bullshit that gets spoken was entertaining for that aspect, but I don't find him funny on stage.
Do you know him also entirely over now? And I can't be bothered with him anymore. I think the weeds affected him too much. What do you call the 10th Planet guy?
Eddie Bravo.
He's gone. Like his
Eddie Bravo, yeah, that guy's fucking crazy. And
he's crazy. Actually crazy. I reckon.
You said it, not me.
he was the dude.
If we
who
ever
was,
run into him.
He was the guy who was trying to. He's like talking about flat Earth and shit, and trying to say.
Flat Earth, like honest to goodness.
Did you hear about that guy who was trying to build his own rocket so he could get the evidence himself?
That died.
Yeah, and the thing is, Discovery Channel apparently was like, "Come on, man, do it. Like it'll make a good documentary. Come on, do it." And he did it while they were filming him, and he fucking died. And
Did he
Discovery-
crash?
Yeah, because he
Of
went
course
up
he
in the
crashed,
air.
yeah.
He went like 100 feet into the air and came down and just died on impact.
Did he build the rocket?
He built the fucking rocket himself.
He built the rocket using sums that thought the Earth was flat. So the sums weren't right.
Yeah, because gravity would be a whole different
Yeah,
equation.
he got to where his sums were going to get him to, but the sums weren't right. Did you ever watch that Flat Earth
Holy
documentary on? It was more like a love story on Netflix. There's a
I
Flat Earth
couldn't watch
documentary.
that.
It's so
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
funny,
It's like
man.
just made up shit.
No, but it was literally a love story between this kind of hopeless dude who had a Flat Earth podcast and this other confident woman who had a podcast, and they finally meet up and stuff. And then these guys are like, "We're going to do this mathematics that proves the Earth's flat. I'll get a laser on a stick and we'll point it that way for 17 miles. And if it doesn't hit this point on the other stick, then that means the Earth is round." And they prove themselves wrong, and they go, "Oh, something must be wrong here. Something must be wrong here." And they were just going to fudge the numbers until they were right. So they're never going to learn. They did their own experiment, and they proved themselves wrong. They should have gone, "Okay, as science dictates, we are wrong. The Earth must be, not flat."
I mean, you know the easy way, which I've done, like I've tested this just to be sure.
Yeah.
The easy way is watching a ship disappearing over the horizon.
Yeah.
If you're flat, which obviously you're at sea level looking
Yeah.
out across the sea,
you can see it disappear.
7 miles,
Yeah.
and then
half of
disappears.
it sort of disappears. You can't see
you
as
can
much
only
of
see
the
the
thing,
top
and
of it.
it's gone. Yeah.
So that's all I need. I mean, maybe other people need more, but that's all
I
I need.
like
They're
the
the lot
flying to the UK, and the sunset lasts for about 4 hours because you're flying into it.
To it, yeah.
And
And then
also
the
as well,
opposite, when you're going back, it goes away really quick. It's like, how's that happen? Why? Because we're traveling
yeah, we're going to it.
around.
Yeah.
You can see the Earth's curved.
I think we sort of touched on this the last time in terms of like, we had a conversation of who are they, who's the government. But in
Yes,
terms of almost any conspiracy theory ever conspired, the moon landing, to take it as an example, like we're 50 years away from the moon landing, give or take. The amount of people that would have to have kept entirely quiet right up until their deathbed, and the amount of people that would have needed to be involved to make it what it was. Like that conspiracy involved thousands of people who've all kept quiet till their deathbed. It's not a conspiracy. They did land on the moon.
And,
Yeah,
that only
agreed.
came to light within the last 10 to 20 years that people thought that it was fake. Because it was so far removed from them that they've gone, Stanley Kubrick did it. No, hang on, why did Stanley Kubrick do it? Because he made a movie around the same time, the Space Odyssey. And they're gone, his stuff was accurate. Yeah, because he did the fucking research with NASA.
But that's the whole thing about the moon landing. They're like, oh, it's not accurate because if you look, like, you can see the flag sticking out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if
we
you speed
put
it
a
up-
wire on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, because they wanted it to be because there's no wind. They wanted it to be at mast, like
Yeah,
this.
so we put a wire
So,
on it.
yeah,
it's
put a fucking wire
easy-
in it.
Like the simple explanation is the explanation. Occam's razor. Have you ever heard of Occam's razor?
Yeah.
That is Occam's razor. The simple explanation is usually the explanation. There's no need to be like
Cryptic about it, yeah, making weird shit up.
Well,
Well,
so
they-
to get,
they
so to
put a
get back
wire
to
in
the
it.
flat Earth one, like what you're saying about the planes, like every pilot, every airline pilot in the world would have to be in the conspiracy that
Not tell anyone, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have to get
okay,
sworn
we're
in.
going to
and
make you an
everything, and
airline pilot, but like
You can't tell
you
anyone
know
about
it's
this.
flat. We have to pretend it's round. Why do we have to pretend it's round?
People will go crazy.
just
if
do.
They know. Yeah.
But we're like, why do we have to pretend it's round? Like,
Yeah.
if it is
There's all
flat,
this-
could we not just say it's flat? Could we?
Yeah.
do
What's
that?
yeah?
Just
I
tell
want
it like
to
it
know
is.
more about the conspiracy itself because I don't give it the time of day.
No, there's no point because you're just feeding the shit, feeding more shit.
And also, man, this, because I think about it all the time because I come from the fertile belly of Ireland. This town is so unforgiving, especially actually as a town, not just a country. Bendigo, like, there's nothing here if it wasn't for the gold.
Yep. There's not a water supply here.
No water
There's
supply.
There's
Yeah.
no river. There's nothing.
So
We-
apparently there weren't even tribes lived here back in the
No.
day because there's nothing here.
maybe, yeah. But
Makes
there was,
sense.
There was nothing here for us to do. Like, there's a friend of mine who's a doctor, but not that kind of doctor. He did his doctorate, and his thesis was on the water system in Bendigo and how they developed it during the gold rush to supply water. And there was a series of reservoirs and stuff like that. That didn't exist. We had to supply our water to each other in this really convoluted system by digging all these dams and all these kind of guttering systems because you can't operate and survive in a land where there is no river or lake. In most towns you go to, there'll be a river running through the middle, or there'll be like a big fucking thing. But we don't have that. And
Yeah.
you got
Yeah, no,
one
it's only
guy,
the gold.
the quartz
Simply
king,
the gold.
George Lancel, lives on top of the fucking biggest gold mine that he created, and he was just there to pump a bunch of cash in and out of the joint. You know.
Yep.
We don't have anything that's. I mean, it's obviously it's a great place to live, but the history of it what the fuck was here, man? Like, why? Like, you think about
And also, we can only live here because of 21st century infrastructure.
exactly, yeah, that was
Yeah.
developed
50
because of that.
k's in any direction. There's not a blade of grass.
But hey, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have a Chico roll, would we? So we'd be in
That's
trouble.
right.
They come from Bendigo.
Come from Bendigo,
That's
yeah.
right.
Good
Yeah.
gravy.
Gillies pies.
On Meyer. Like, what a town this
That's
is.
right. Isn't it funny how badly the Maya building is? It's disgusting. It's like they don't look after it. That's ground zero for Maya. And you let it get that bad, the escalator's disgraceful. You can't get up that without fucking feeling like you've gone on a ride at Dreamworld.
Tell you what, though, you heard it here first. Like, Meyer's what we in the actuary profession call a twilight industry. They're done.
Yeah, you reckon they're on?
Yeah, they're done. Like,
Yeah, right.
they're not going to survive the 21st century. No
Well.
chance. All empires fall.
Any retail store, brick and mortar,
Mm.
selling shit, it's just going to be obsolete in about 10 years
Yeah.
because online shopping,
Yeah.
simple as that. And they're talking about how to save the CBD here in Bendigo. It's like, yeah, all you can do now is open up bars and cafes and
Yeah,
motels.
which is kind of what's happening.
Yeah, it's the only way, and have accommodation. You know, luxury sort of
What
nice
if-
places to stay for
What
a
if we
weekend.
made every little town self-sufficient and gave it its own little power plant? You know what I mean? Like, instead of having that big one in Maui that supplies everybody and that goes down, we're all fucked. What if we just go, all right, let's just, every town, we'll build one here.
Man,
all you
my
guys can
my
work at it.
street, looking around it, is self-sufficient. Like, about 80% of my street's got solar power.
Yeah, that's great. Does it help? Does it drop the bill? Does it actually do much?
Yeah, so it's wrecking the national grid because
Yeah, because
everyone's
it's
off it.
Yeah,
Everyone's
Whipple
off
was saying
it.
the same thing. Yeah,
It's what you're meant to do.
yeah. But that's the thing is,
It's
like,
a lot of work, but
you know, you don't have to go to work 6 days a week. You can just have a little vegetable patch there and take what you need. Your neighbour does more tomatoes than you do carrots. Swap with him. You know what I mean?
good old fashioned trading.
He's good old fashioned trade. Just trade with him. You know, Tommy's growing poppies in his backyard, and I want to get high.
I'm not going. I'm simply in the backyard
That's
with
right.
an awful lot of buns, just picking them off.
Just picking him up.
Tweezers.
He's not even growing poppies. He's just hitting up the safe way too much.
Yeah.
Do you think eventually they put a limit on it?
Yeah. After this podcast, they probably will.
They will. They're going to drop it down.
They're
Only
not-
4
oh,
packs only.
Dr. Tommy Russell was onto it.
That's right. Yeah, and then you're the poster boy for on the front of the packet of things. This is Dr. Tommy Russell with his official doctor approval for poppy seeds, and you're like, and it says Dr. Tommy Russell. I'm not that kind of doctor.
I genuinely feel it's like the 1 to 5 razor blades.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely feel, and it's like fracking, there's a resource there. Someone will work out how to extract it
Yeah.
efficiently,
Yeah.
and it'll be fine.
It's
We'll
the
all, we'll all the
efficiently
heroin
part.
we need.
It's the
Yeah. Well, yeah.
the efficiently part is the part of it. Well, I reckon we're probably pretty good there, boys. I'm aching
Yeah.
for a slash for one,
Yeah, absolutely.
and we should finish the rest of these beers too. So let's thank you very much, Tommy, for coming along again, man.
Feel like we've achieved nothing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and there's
Yeah,
still
once
plenty,
again.
plenty more layers to the onion to go. But like this definitely won't be the last time you're here. So it'll be a good time. And yeah,
Absolutely.
fantastic.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we will see you guys next week. Enjoy yourselves. And what is it, Cody? Don't shit yourself and stay away from the aliens.
That's right. Yeah. Never shit yourself, no matter what happens.
See ya.